Greetings, PrimaBlockers! It's Matt here again. I'm here to actually give you an updated pool creation video since we actually made some pretty big recent changes. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're on the Rinkeby testnet homepage here. We've got the create a pool button here, and then we've also got our dashboard accessible up here. But to start a pool this time around, we'll just go ahead and use the button on the homepage. First things first, so you can see that we're on the create a pool here. We actually have a brand new feature, and this is a big update. So what we now have is cross-chain pooling. So now we can actually go from Ethereum to Ethereum, we can go from Ethereum to GoChain, or we can go GoChain to GoChain. So there is no GoChain to Ethereum yet, just because the market cap for GoChain is still pretty low, and that can change in the future if we decide to do that. But right now we do support Ethereum to Ethereum, and Ethereum to GoChain, and GoChain to GoChain. So you notice that when I'm clicking around here, especially when I do Ethereum to GoChain, you'll notice there's actually two fields here for the wallet address. So the first one, of course, is your regular Ethereum wallet that you've been, maybe using with PrimaBlock all this time, or maybe this is your first time and you're trying to figure out how to do this. Basically, to do a cross-chain pool, you need to actually have an Ethereum wallet and a GoChain wallet. Now, some wallets can actually do both because GoChain is really just a clone of the Ethereum blockchain with a few tweaks on it. So, for instance, like MetaMask wallets can actually support both GoChain and Ethereum, and actually have mine set up to do both. You just need to make sure that you're on the right network when you're playing with GoChain stuff. If you're on the testnet, so you actually have to create your own little testnet RPC GoChain.io custom RPC field here. So when I click on that, it still shows everything is Ethereum for me in MetaMask, but actually this is Go. This is not Ethereum. And I also have Pareto tokens, which are kind of just test tokens that I have to test token distribution on the Go blockchain. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my Ethereum side of things here. But just so you know that you do need to have these two wallet addresses. If, like mine, for instance, and you use MetaMask or my crypto or my Ether wallet, and they support this as well, you can actually have the same wallet address and just like copy and paste that in the GoChain. If that's what you want to do. You can choose to actually have two wallet addresses if you want to separate the two things and contribute with an Ethereum wallet using Ethereum and then receive GoChain tokens on your GoChain wallet at the end of that. You can totally do it that way if that's what you want to do. I just want to let you know that there are those two options, and if you are doing a cross-chain pool, you do need to make sure that you have a wallet that can either capture both both types of tokens, or you need to have two separate wallets that serve those two purposes. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. So for this, basic pool, we're just going to leave it as simple as possible, and we're just going to go through each field here so I can explain it to you. So we simplified the allocations tab. So this is your next section here. You've got your total net amount here. This is the amount that's actually going to be sent to the ICO. So this is the exact number. We've already subtracted the fees and stuff from this amount for you, so you don't have to make that calculation when you're transferring the funds to the ICO. We also updated, this learn more function. So if you ever see this learn more, you can hold your mouse over it and it'll give you a little bit of a, little blurb to kind of help you figure things out. The next little piece of this is your fees. So this is, typically your creator fee. You can set it up really high, up to 50% like you could before. And it keeps the, you can see the changing total amount of ETH required in the pool to make that happen. And then this fee is calculated with the 0.5% or 0.5% PrimaBlock fee, and those are your total fees that are held in escrow on the smart contract after when you send the Ethereum to the ICO. This next step here is the maximum per contributor, how big a contributor can claim within a pool, how many pieces of the pie they can choose to take. Basically, that is where you limit that. The minimum per contributor is that baseline threshold that somebody has to contribute to for the first time before they can become a member of their pool. That's their minimum. So they can contribute in, that small amount of 0.15, or right now is the, the sample pool. You can set that whatever you want, but they can contribute in that baseline amount first, and then they can contribute in smaller amounts later if they want to add on to their contribution. But they have to have at least that baseline threshold to be able to claim any tokens from from the pool at the end of the day. right? So the second section, options. So just a quick note here. It does say that items with the lock cannot be changed after pool creation. So it's a really nice indicator to let you know that some of these things are editable later, but some of them are not. So the ones that are not editable later are the extra admins, the lock destination address, the enable KYC, and the add custom disclaimer. So those cannot be changed later after this time. You have to do those now. The other ones, the other two for the moment can be edited later on, which is great. So to go over these one by one. So distribute tokens automatically allows the smart contract to actually automatically distribute the tokens. Tokens on the Ethereum blockchain or tokens on the Go chain blockchain, or even Ethereum or Go for contributors if the pool is refunded. So if you've contributed to a pool and that is turned on, whether you get a refund or whether you get tokens, those will automatically be distributed to your wallets as soon as the creator either claims the tokens or enables a refund and sends the Ethereum or the Go back to the pool. Okay. So do keep in mind that there is a 0.006 Ethereum per contributor that will be deducted from the pool to prepay the automatic distribution. So that is good to kind of keep in mind. Those are that amount plus the fees, creator fee, PrimaBlock fee, are actually held in escrow on the smart contract. When you send the Ethereum off to the Go off to the ICO. All right. So keep in mind that's kind of what happens there. So for now, we'll leave that off. But if that is off, contributors, if they get a refund or if they get tokens on either blockchain or cross-chain, doesn't matter. They have to make a manual withdrawal transaction on the smart contract to be able to get their stuff. So if that is something you choose to do, please inform your contributors that that's what's happening, and also try to let them know ahead of time what the date might be when you actually do the token confirmation step, so that they have a good idea when they can make their manual withdrawal. It does give them a little bit more control over the gas costs of that transaction, so that can be a good thing. So choose to do what's best for you and what's best for your contributors, obviously, but we'll leave that decision up to you. The extra admins feature. So this allows you to add additional admins to your wallet, and you know that they actually have to add it by wallet address. Good thing to keep in mind if you're doing a cross-chain pool from Ethereum to like GoChain, all the admins actually have to have both addresses or a wallet that's capable of holding both. So keep that in mind as well. Before you could actually only add 3, but we've made a change and now you can add a lot more. So that's something that's been nice for people, is that they needed additional admins to kind of help manage their contributors because they had like hundreds of contributors. So that is a nice little thing to have. The whitelist feature has been updated. It's actually quite a bit improved. You don't need to make a transaction every time now. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. But basically, we made it a lot cheaper to actually manage a whitelist. So if you have to pull people off, add people on there, and you're doing that quite often with long whitelists, it could get really expensive in kind of the past doing all those different transactions on the blockchain. So we try to alleviate some of that for you, and I believe we've been pretty successful at that. So it's been working really well. Definitely give that a try if you haven't used a whitelist before. It's kind of awesome to do. The lock destination address. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory. It hasn't changed a ton. We've also improved this feature a little bit as well. But in general, the idea is that you put an address here. The lock destination address will be the address that you have to transfer the funds, like the Ethereum or the Go, to after the pool is ready to be transferred, right? After you've collected all the funds and need to be sent somewhere, you have to send it to this address if you put this in there at this time. If the ICO has a data requirement, like in this data field right here, for the transfer, you have to put this in now because this is one of those locked features you cannot edit later. If you do not put the data in field now, but you put it in the locked destination address, because the locked destination address is not editable, those funds are stuck. They can't transfer anywhere. So make sure you know that the data field is required if it is by the ICO ahead of time before you create your pool. Because otherwise the funds are stuck there. You'll have to cancel your pool and you'll have to restart it and ask for contributions again, which we want to avoid. So definitely set yourself up for success and know that information ahead of time. All right. So we'll leave that off again for right now because we're just creating a simple pool so you can see what the transactions look like. The enable KYC. So this is an amazing feature. I'm really happy to have. This KYC stands for Know Your Customer. Basically, if it's enabled, it will blacklist anybody who is not KYC verified. So when you enable KYC on a pool, if somebody tries to contribute and they are not KYC verified, what will happen is that we will ask for their, KYC documentation, and that's pretty self-explanatory. We require, state ID, proof of address, selfie with photo ID, with a, your signature, or not your signature, but your date and PrimaBlock written on it with your ID, so we know it's you and everything matches. That information is not something that the pool creators need to maintain or that they will see or that they will hold, so you don't need to be worried about that. We will take care of that for you. We will verify everybody. The other kind of cool thing about KYC is that because you are only allowing from this pool of contributors that we have information on to contribute to your pool, only the contributors that are contributing from a country that is not on your blacklist can actually make that contribution. So that is amazing for pool creators that are trying to have a pool to invest in ICO that has legal requirements that will block certain countries depending on what their country is. So that will really allow people a lot more fine-tuned control over who's contributing to the pool and actually allowing them to make that pool and contribute to an ICO that has those requirements. So a lot of people are really loving that feature. I think it's amazing. It definitely makes contributors feel a little bit more secure. It makes creators feel a little bit more secure. It's not a requirement though, so you can still pool without it just as normal. This is something that is only necessary if you choose to have it there. Okay, but do keep in mind it is a locked feature. You cannot change this later if you enable it now, or you can't change the list of blacklisted countries either. That's set in stone at this stage. So know what you want at right now because you can't change it later. For again this pool, we'll leave it off because we don't need to enable it at this time. Custom disclaimer. Now, this is really cool. So you can say, only the coolest kids get to pool here. Whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. You basically what's going to happen is that when you put something here, you can say something like, only pool at your own risk. This pool is for such and such. And then when somebody tries to contribute, what's going to pop up is a little, the disclaimer, and then saying, do you agree, yes or no? So you can really make that kind of as official as you want, like, look, only contribute at your own risk, da 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 da. Or you can, make it fun like I would and just be like, hey, only the coolest people can be here. You can only pool if you're a cool cat, whatever. I'm silly, that's just me. But it's just nice that you can kind of customize things that way, and if you do want to add a more of a legalized disclaimer, you do have the power to do that, and that is a really nice thing to have. So we're going to leave that off right now. Actually, you know what? For fun, we'll create a pool and put in there. Only cool cats can enter here. I'm being silly, but you don't have to be, okay? So we'll put that on. We will go back to an Ethereum pool just to make it really simple. I will go ahead and hit submit. We got our new transaction page here. So really cool. I really love this format. Everything just laid out right there in front of you. You can see it right away. You got your wallet here. You've got your manual transaction information here. A little copy button to make it easy for you to copy into your programs or different applications if you want to do it that way. We do, as always, have my Ether wallet, my crypto, and MetaMask built into our platform. It's typical of myself. Guess what I'm going to use? I'm going to use MetaMask. MetaMask is saying that I'm doing a 0 Ethereum transaction, so just as a reminder, when you're deploying a pool, a lot like other commands to the smart contracts, these are 0 Ethereum transactions just sending information, not Ethereum. Because we are sending commands to the blockchain, there is a transaction cost because of gas, so do keep that in mind as well. We'll hit the confirm button. And then PrimaBlock recognizes that the transaction has been detected, and it's just waiting for confirmation on the blockchain for the pool to deploy there. So we'll just go ahead and wait here for a second while they go ahead and happens, and then we'll see a kind of an update here once that's completed. Just as a reminder for people who are new to kind of blockchain, MetaMask, that kind of thing, you can actually look at your my crypto, my Ether, MetaMask. You can actually click on this on MetaMask, it'll take you right to Etherscan. Etherscan lets you track all Ether transactions on the blockchain and lets you know whether or not they're pending, how long that they've been going on for, etc., etc. It's just a really good kind of pool of information for you to be able to access. This is what I use all the time to help people, and it's just a nice resource for you to be able to use. So you can see going back to our pool now, I'll just close this Etherscan thing here. Back at our pool, this is the contribution page. sorry, I was in the wrong place. That was the contribution page. This is back to the create a pool page. So our transaction is completed. This is the contribution page for that pool. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this stuff. We don't need it. I'm going to go ahead and just open a new tab just to make sure that I have that contributor link so I can see what it looks like. Ah, look, I can see it. It's beautiful. If I hit the contributor link, guess what happens? I get the disclaimer. Only cool cats can enter here. I agree, we're back. All right, so we're just going to go back because contributing is not what we're here to do today. I'm just going to go to the dashboard, and I'm going to give you an overview of what this looks like here, okay? Not much has changed here, but what has is kind of cool, so I want to tell you about it. The first and coolest thing, in my opinion, is that you can actually now name your pool as a creator. So, best pool ever. All right, so all contributors who look at this, and let's just show you now. Let's just refresh this page. All contributors who now contribute to this pool are now going to see that this is the pool name is reflected. The cool thing is that this is editable, so if I wanted to change this because it's on our front end or back end, I can do that. Now, as a pool creator, you might not want to do that just so that your pool contributors can have some consistency when they're looking up your pool and they look at it in their list of pools. So I wouldn't recommend changing it too often. I'd recommend just being one and done setting it. But if you messed up and say like misspelled ever, I can edit it, and it's not that bad anymore. So that is kind of a cool feature. You can also add a pool description. So, whatever you want to put there too, and that is editable as well. So if you have like let's say you have some new information like token lockout ends 10/10/18 because your tokens that you're receiving for the pool event, you haven't got them yet, but the lockout will end on this date. All of a sudden, the auto distribute, if that's on, will kick in. Your contributors will get their tokens, or they'll come back and withdraw on that date, and they're happy. You're happy. Everybody's communicating well, and this is a really great kind of place to do that. So keep that in mind, that you do not have that option. The pencils are these ways to kind of edit it. The allocations are also editable as per usual. You can see auto distribution is off. You can't edit that here. You see your admin wallets. There's only just the one because it's the only one I added, which is the creation wallet. Now, the most important thing besides, in my opinion, this is that the contract address position has moved on this page. So before, the smart contract address was right here where the wallet address was, and the wallet address was right here on the right-hand side. We've changed that to make it pretty clear. We feel like it's a little bit clearer now. Your wallet address is just here. Everything to do with the contract is in one field. So that definitely seems to be a better way to display it, and it's been confusing fewer people. So just as a reminder, pool creators, when you get your tokens or you've got your refund and you're trying to make sure that it gets distributed to all your contributors, where do you send it? Do you send it to your wallet or do you send it to the contract address? You send it to the contract address. Yes, you send it here. So on a cross-chain pool, so let's say Ethereum to GoChain as an example, you've got two of these wallet addresses, right? You've got the Ethereum wallet and you've got the GoChain wallet. Well, you're also actually going to have two smart contract addresses. You're going to have an Ethereum one and a GoChain one. So let's say you're investing in Ethereum, so you're gathering Ethereum, pulling Ethereum to invest into a GoChain token. What contract address can you guess does the GoChain tokens go to after it's complete? It goes to the GoChain smart contract address, not the Ethereum smart contract address. All right? Hopefully that'll help you with your pool in the future. Last two things, we've got a CSV file you can download for your contributors' wallets to keep that information offline to help you keep track of your contributors. And then also the create a whitelist feature, which is editable at basically any time. And like I mentioned earlier, it's actually a lot cheaper than it used to be because you don't have to make transactions every time that you make a change to the whitelist. All right? So if you guys have any questions on any of those steps or you need some additional help, please contact us at support@primablock.com, or please hit me up directly in Telegram and just PM me. I'm at Swedish Fish, SWEEDISHFISH. Or you can basically just send us a message on through Zendesk or a little help kind of widget here on the actual webpage. Head us through any of these portals, and I'll definitely be happy to assist you. So with that said, thanks for hanging out with me today, PrimaBlockers. Stay safe, happy pooling, and have an awesome day. Take care.